So here we are at the lathe. That mandrel with the two blanks fits inside the headstock here of the lathe, and it gets mounted at the, gets pressed into place with the tailstock. But this is my favorite part. We get to turn some wood now, so let's have some fun. Always when you're turning on a lathe, you want to make sure and wear some face protection. A little dusty here. I better clean that off first. But these chips can fly off the lathe, and you certainly don't want them flying off the lathe into your eye. So let me go blow this off real quick. Now, I love using a lathe. I think it's one of the most fun tools I have in my shop. This one is just a small 10 by 18 inch Harbor Freight wood lathe, but it's a really good beginner lathe, and it pretty much does everything I want it to do as far as turning pans and bowls and things like that. It'll turn up to a 10-inch bowl. I'd like to have something that does a larger bowl, but other than that, it works very well. So let's see what we can create here. Now, when turning a pen, I use carbide tip tools. They're just smaller, easier to work with tool. The other option is the standard gouges and skews, but these are harder to control on smaller pieces of wood. So carbide tip tools are the ones to use. And we're just going to start by making this round. So now what we've got is two fairly round pieces from those rectangle pen blanks. So I can see this one's not quite square, so I'll have to try and square that one up. Better. So here's where you've got to decide which one's going to be the top, which one's going to be the bottom. Now I normally put this as the very top, this end closest to the tailstock would be the top, and then this would be the bottom, the tip where the pen comes out. So we got to think about our design now. Do we want something just flat across all the way, or do we want to add some characteristics to it? Usually what I do is make this top part flat, or with a little rounded, you know, and then I usually do whatever design element I want down here, because up here you've got the pen clip, you know, that clips into your pocket up here, so that kind of hides some of your design. So you can get more creative down here because you've got more space. Now what I do is I think about the function of the pen, and what I like when I'm writing with a pen, I'm writing down more towards the bottom. Say this pencil is a pen, but I'm writing more down here by the bottom. So I like something that stops my fingers from sliding down too far. So I make a little raised area closer to the bottom to kind of hold my fingers down at the bottom. So I'll show you how I do that. you can see it too well. But now there's a little nub here. So if I'm looking at writing with this, I would be writing with my fingers like that. And I'll stop my fingers from sliding all the way down, right? So that's one design I do. Just makes it nice and functional for me. I don't know if everybody would like that, but it's what I do. So I'm just going to turn this maybe with a little thin to wider to thin, you know. You'll see. So now the basic design is we've got this part that kind of goes small, gets a little wider, then goes small, and goes wider, wider, and then small. So it seems like a pretty cool little pen. I'm going to add a couple notches in it just to